Hello, peeps. It's time for What's Up Wednesday. Oh, look, I have a thing sitting on the desk. My desk is such a mess because I've been playing. I'm a little early. I'm going to give everybody a chance to get started. I just want to see if anybody knows what this is. And I'm going to see if I can figure out how to make my comments show up. Let us see. It is, let's see. What is it? 25th of October. It is pitch black outside. Why are you doing that then? No. I'm determined. I'm sorry, as it gets very quiet on there. I am determined to see these damn comments if it kills me. I will get there. Oh, it's looking up. I'm optimistic that it's going to work this time. It's just spooling. Okay, let's see. Let's see. So yes, it is What's Up Wednesday. It's 7 o'clock now, so I should really pay attention to what I'm doing. Why is everything frozen? Okay. This is Tracey Stewart, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and your friendly neighborhood paper pusher. Yes, I think I might actually be able to see the chat. Oh my goodness. And look, it's only 7:01. Will miracles never cease? I am in a giddy mood today. Giddy, I say. Because of this. Hola, Tamara. ¿Cómo estás? Está muy bien. Yeah, this is part of why I'm happy. And part of why you should always have something underneath when you use blends. See, if I said, I smell children, would that help? Help get me committed, yes. Help you guess what this is? Maybe not. Sorry, all of a sudden. Apparently, I just hit puberty right now. I'll have some piping hot tea. So I see the comments, and all of a sudden, there's like you know how the heart's like if you hit the heart and it floats? I have like a permanent heart. Oh, that's just the way that looks. Okay. Okay. So I have said it before. I'll say it again. I do love to color. And I don't even remember where I saw this, but I saw it somewhere and I so loved it. And I thought, I have got to figure out a way to make this out of paper, but I haven't yet. And if I could figure out how to make my ScanNCut work, that would be the answer, but I haven't yet. So what we have, though, is just a great coloring opportunity. We have Mary, and we have Sarah, and we have Winnie. Aren't they great? I just noticed now they're all different heights. I don't know if that's, I can't remember in the movie. So, and this is just like photocopy paper, which is why the blends went like so much through onto the cardboard I had below. But even if you're coloring cardstock, call social services, I think we'll be okay. Like I said, coloring makes me so happy. I just colored today, and then I did a bunch of other stuff. But I've been playing. Like, there's so many other things. I have this very long to-do list of, you know, getting ready for the winter and getting the vehicle in the house, and there's all those things to do, and there's things to catch up on, and there's kid and dog and all those things, and then there's work things. I got like lists. And today I colored, and then I played, and I got a bunch of samples ready for tonight, and made a couple other cards that had nothing to do with anything. I just made them because I wanted to. And so I've just been having so much fun. Anyways, the reason I'm showing you all of this, other than the fact that I just think they're the most adorable little things, is that something I learned. So Mary here Kathy and Jimmy. I love Kathy and Jimmy. In the movie, her hair is kind of black with some blue in it. And the way this original, I'm going to find it here in a sec. The way this original, this is what the piece of paper looks like. And so there's no detail lines, right? But her hair is like in a big top knot. So I didn't want to lose the detail. I didn't want to color her hair just, honestly, Tamara, I have no idea where. I saw them somewhere, or they were in an email. I get so many different emails from so many different things, and I don't even know where I saw them. It was just a little, I downloaded it. There's no markings of any kind on the download. And because my email is so, like my computer in general is just so overloaded with files, that I downloaded this PDF and deleted the email it came from. Half the time I don't like save pictures of anything anymore. I just, if I see it and I'm like, oh, I like the idea of that, then I have it in my head. And then when I go to make something, I have no picture to reference. I just, I remember seeing something that was kind of like something. So it's just nuts. So yeah, I didn't want her hair just to be black. So what I did was I outlined her hair in black and I added these little lines to give it the top knot effect. And then I colored this in dark misty moonlight. And it gives it a very bluish black tinge. And if I hadn't told you that, and you just saw them together, you would probably just think, oh, black hair. But it is kind of bluish black, and it lets the lines show through. Because I find with like the light black and dark black, it's not as distinct. Like some of these other ones, and you can kind of see I put the little, I didn't draw all the things I tried to, but it didn't quite work. So I just colored it all over with a darker color, but I did give her part down the middle, which she has. And her hair is very, very light. So I used Lemon Lolly, but I didn't know until afterwards. I used the wrong marker on this side, and I was like, one side is different than the other. So pay attention. That's your lesson for today. I will eventually probably go back and color it. I just like the way this side turned out so well that I don't actually want it this dark. But I was mostly just trying to figure out the colors and like how I would do it if I did it out of paper. So I actually printed off this sheet as well. And then I wrote what I did so I could remember for next time. Anyways, I loved it. I love Hocus Pocus. We're gonna have a little double feature on the weekend because I've seen Hocus Pocus I don't know how many times, but then Hocus Pocus 2 was new. I think it was just new last year because I think I've only seen it the one time and I can't even really remember what happens in it other than the three of them are back. So anyways, there's my coloring story and there's what's left. Now, let's get on with some business because I got stuff to show you and things to do. Starting with, if you want to have this much fun, just go buy a bunch of craft stuff. And the best way to get a bunch of craft stuff, starter kit. Most things you can get, lowest price you can get them for, and no shipping, no tax. Plus a paper pumpkin kit. Plus you get the $102 registration to get to on stage. And once you're registered to on stage, you can get early bird access to the, I call it the Beehive bundle. And I know it's not that, and I was just using it. I'm going to show you it later. Be My Valentine. Well, there's the stamp set. And somewhere on my desk is the punch. Yep, it's been that kind of a day. There's the punch, which has so much fun and things you can do with it. So yeah, then you can order that suite if you want, because it's right now, it'll be in the January catalog, but right now, only people who are registered for on stage can order it. And yes, I paid $102 to register for on stage. You could have it for free. So wicked deal. Only goes till the 31st of October. Don't wait till the 30th. Thank you, Tamara. What does that say? Use your color lifter. Oh, hello, Mary. Oh, look at this. I have comments and I can't even keep up with them. I don't like my color lifter, and it's more of a user or an operator issue. I always make the paper, like make it too wet, and I tend to make holes in the paper. I'll just have to color them again. Actually, I need to at least print it on cardstock. This is just on photocopy paper, so I don't think it would survive much, because on cardstock I tend to make the paper too wet. But I'm still trying to figure out if I can like scan or if I can cut. And I was like, my original thought was, is there a way to take this and go, okay, so this is just a rectangle. Okay, I can do that, and I can square that off, and this would be the oval. And let me see, this looks almost like a bird. So do I have a die that looks like this? And this looks almost like an ice cream cone if I use an ice cream cone. So that's where it originally started. but I didn't quite go down that rabbit hole. So anyways, back to this. Yes, do not wait till the last couple of days. We've got a new system going. They just did upgrade today. And I noticed last night things were not quite right. A couple of my orders were missing, and then I think they're back now. The reports weren't showing at first. And so, and it's all just working out the kinks as it goes through. The new system is awesome, and they're very good about telling you it's coming. And I love Stampin' Up's communications when they do big stuff. But nonetheless, they're doing big stuff. So don't wait till the last couple of days and, you know, everybody crashes the system. Do it now and order your stuff, and then you get to play. So that's your best deal. Let me move this over here. I finally got myself together and double checked and counted, and I have one set of cards left for this class. It's going to be fun. I checked at the leisure center when I was there for my son's hockey game, and the concession is going to be open, and they make lovely food and lattes and Slurpees and all sorts of things. Ooh, autumn paper's back. I saw the funniest post about the autumn paper, Tamara. Somebody posted it and said, the autumn paper's back. I'm not sure for how long, but as of, I don't know, 3 o'clock Eastern Mountain or Eastern time on this date, the paper is back. So I guess if anybody was going to complain, because it could be gone in 10 minutes. I totally get that. That is some popular paper. And with all the Americans still prepping for Thanksgiving, because they got a whole, month? Thanksgiving's a month from tomorrow. They got a whole month to still play. They'll be scooping that stuff up like crazy. So yes, one more class for this. I think I was finished with that. I'm not even totally sure. It's a good thing I have comments, but I probably shouldn't because they're totally distracting to me. Okay, so apart from the very cute Christmas, I've only got two more events before Christmas. I have demonstrator events. Love me my demonstrator events. I have on stage, and I have a virtual team meeting in November, and then our in-person Christmas get together in December, which I'm much looking forward to. And I think that's it for demo. I think so. I have 3 demo events, and then I have the very cute class. We have, I think a week from Thursday is the first of the Christmas card making, and love this card. Still love this card. We're making this card. I picked this set of cards so that you could hit. It would work for Christmas, but if you didn't need Christmas, then it would also work, because this could very easily be a birthday card. Same as this one. Could be a birthday card. Could just say something nice and be like a lovely tree card, because hey, trees are all the rage, especially if you're in forestry. And then we have the Christmas card. I have to put these down. And then we have the Christmas card. And this is more of the, you know, Santa Claus Christmas card. But if you wanted a more religious Christmas card, or perhaps you wanted a more Jewish Christmas card, sorry, perhaps you needed a Hanukkah card, or perhaps you just wanted to make this lovely spin, spin, spin Hanukkah card, we would have options. So, because I'm prepping a lot of the same things to make these cards. So these are basically the 3 cards, and I just got to switch things up. So those are the cards we're making on the 9th. And then there'll be one more Christmas card making, I think it's on the 7th. It should be on the 14th of December, but I think we decided the 7th. We got that going on. Lots going on. Lots of fun stuff. Okay, so I mentioned, but what is today? Today is Wednesday. So I must have maybe mentioned it last Friday that today we're making folios. And I got asked, I took a folio, and for the life of me, I cannot find the one I took, but I have one. It went with this card. I found the card. I found all the cards that went in it, but I can't find the folio. But I had made one, this lovely moody mauve one, and I had taken it to a demonstrator event. And I got asked to show how to make it. And I kept trying to get to it, and I didn't quite get to it. So I got to it today because I was playing and I was having so much fun. So, and I was trying to come up with like things that went with the bear class too, like where I could put my stuff from the bear class. So I'll show you that in a second. But this is basically what the folio is, like the one that I had taken. This is just different colors. So I absolutely love this little bear, this little strutting. That's right. It's me. So this is the simplest of the folios. And I'm going to show you how to make one of those. So if you're wondering about the bear class, I'll show you bear stuff as we go, because all my bear stuff is in all of these things. So there's 2 of the bear cards that you can make. These are made on regular size card bases. You get the other size too. I'll show you that in the next, or the last of the folios. Here's 2 more. So these are just using the paper, some of the cards, some of the bits and pieces, these cool embellishments that I quite like, that I probably should have bought extras of. And it's made for 5x7 cards, but I did test. So this is another one of the ones from the bear class. So this is made with the Memories and More card, which is, these are 6x4. This is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. The envelopes are 6 1/2 by 4 1/2. I was doing this with all my little measurements. I was making notes. When you're deciding to make something like this, you have to make sure you pick the envelope dimensions, not the card dimensions. Because if you're going to put your envelopes in, you got to make sure it fits those. So these are the slightly bigger Memories and More cards. 5x7. Okay, so the ones that are with this month's paper pumpkin are a 5x7 card, which makes them, I just thought of those, a little bit wider. They may or may not fit in this size folio. You might have to shimmy things down a little bit, but the Memories and More ones do. That was my point, to show you that the Memories and More cards do fit in here if you wanted to, but it was more designed for these guys. And it fits 4 cards quite easily. I could probably, stuff sliding all over the place, just a minute. I could probably put 6 cards. These are random cards that are still sitting on my desk because I haven't done anything with them. This one's a little bit thicker card too. Yep, I could easily put 6 like standard cards in here, right? It sits, it closes, perfect. Okay, right now there's only 4 because that just happens to be what my samples are, but so yes, you could easily fit 6. I decided to put this white strip here because I thought, oh, you could always write on it if you wanted or something. And then I was like, I'm not sure what you'd write. I also noticed that I should pay more attention because this paper is from A Walk in the Forest, which is the charity paper. The one that if you buy this paper, $4 from every pack goes to the Salvation Army in Canada. I don't know where the other markets where it goes to, but in Canada, it goes to the Salvation Army. Now, from Extravaganza alone, we put in a pretty good donation. I have a bunch of this paper as well. This is a very popular paper. And the bears, oops, this guy, the bears from here punch out with the bear punch. The trees that are in this paper punch out with the various trees. And so there's like all this overlap. So they kind of work with each other. But it occurs to me after I put them all together and pop the cards in that this paper is Whisper or Basic White based, and the Very Cute Christmas paper is actually very vanilla based. But I would imagine most people are not that picky, and it kind of looks good together anyways. So that's folio number 1. And I'm going to show you how to make that one, and I'm going to finish folio 3. Now, this was how I was working on things today. This was my scrap piece of paper. These are the 3 folios I made. So this was folio number 1. Super simple, as you can see. This was folio number 2. Walk in the Forest is out of stock right now. Oh, I'm totally not surprised about that. It is awesome paper. Yeah, this. Okay, so remember how I said you could, if you register, like buy the kit, you can get registered for on stage, and then you can buy the Very Cute, not Very Cute, sorry. The Be My Valentine bundle. How cute is this bee? I mean, come on. So this is the note card size folio. Now I only made, this holds 6 note cards and their envelopes. I've only decorated 1, but come on, this bee is adorable. I just ran out of time because by the time I got this little, I wanted to see if I could hold more. And you're kind of limited by the size of a piece of paper, as you will see when I show you the dimensions on the first one. So I thought I'm going to try this other way. So what I did for this one is, because it's a smaller note card, I could use the same 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, but I thought I will, instead of just having like folding it up, because there's a limit to that, I will make a box. So this is the very complicated and fussy little way that I got these boxes. I shouldn't have used black paper, but black paper goes so well with this. So you can see these nice little boxes that these go in instead of just a little fold. I totally cut these pieces the wrong size. I wasn't even paying attention. I was just like, do. using the leftovers and snipping them up, the leftover strips that came off the front. But yeah, they were totally the wrong size. So I just went with it because the black is all like blends into each other. It kind of works. So yes, it's a cute little folio. And when you close it together, you can kind of get a better idea. I think there we go. And it works perfectly. I even decorated the back for the cards, but it is very fussy in there. The cards do stay in here much better than the other one though. So then I decided, well, because that's how I roll, right? Well, that works. Let's try 16 more things before we're done. So then I decided what we really needed was a folio. And I love this paper that had the same box, but the box was for the bigger cards. So this is actually just half a folio because I wanted to show you how I made it. So leaning into it takes almost 2 full sheets of paper to make this folio, and it's not quite finished. So I'm really hoping that the end part comes together. But so I made it like this, but because the cards are bigger, I needed to do it in 2 pieces. But then it gave me the opportunity to have the box. So then I can have, so these are the Memories and More cards. We'll just show you those quickly. These are part of the bear class. And these are so simple. This is when you register for the bear class, you get a package of these card bases and envelopes, and the envelopes are all decorated. So you get 10 red cards, 10 blue cards, and 10 matching envelopes for each. So 20 cards, 20 envelopes. You get a, excuse me, you get a set of the Memories and More cards. The big ones, you get a set of the smaller ones. You get the 2 sticker sheets. I think it's 54 cards. These are the smaller size cards. And this is one of these cards cut in half that made the gift card holder. So yeah, I thought, well, if people are going to make this, I need to be able to have, like, you know, here's a little added on project if somebody wants. I pulled all my things off here. But we need to be able to put a bunch of cards in it, right? Because we're going to make 20. So that's why I decided to make the box the size it was. And I pretty much maxed out on what I could get. I think what I can get out of a piece of paper. So this is basically 2 sheets of paper. So this sheet of paper, I'm cutting a 7 by 7 square, and then the 4 by 11 strip that's left over here is what made the box. But I needed 2 of those, and then I squished them together. So I will show you that one shortly. But so those are my 3 different like dimensions of going down the rabbit trail. Okay, so we're going to make the first one. I'm not going to decorate these. I'm just going to show you the first one, show you how easy it is. Like I said, I'm not going to show you the second one. I will put the measurements for the second one, should you wish to torment yourself. But I will, I'll have all the measurements up. I'll write them out neatly and put a picture, and I'll do that probably tomorrow. But the first one, which is probably the most likely one to make. What did I do with mine? Here we go. I forgot to do this ahead of time. I was gonna say, it's not like you can't put note cards in this one too. You just have a lot of room. Oops, how about I put that high enough you can see the whole thing, right? So I mean, you could stick note cards in here if note cards are what you were working on. It's way bigger than it needs to be for note cards. Okay, so this is the folio. I'm going to show you this one. So this one, like I said, by far the easiest, and all you have to do is on the short side of your paper, so on the 8.5, we are gonna, oops, just a minute, that cutting blade, I'm gonna score at 1.5, and then I'm gonna turn it sideways, and I'm gonna score at 5 1/8 on the long side. And then just because I find it easier, because I hate to stretch the arm out, but I also never have room on my desk to stretch the arm out, I'm just gonna do a 180 there and emboss the other one at 5 1/8. So that's it for the first one, and emboss it. And then we're going to burnish our score lines. This is really easy. I'm just going to show you because there's just a little bit of cutting you do on this one. So this gives us a 3/4 inch spine, and anything bigger than that, because I did try, it gets very floppy and the cards don't stay in well because this is only secured on one side. So this is all I'm going to do. So I've cut my pieces. You can see the sort of basic, that's where all the score lines are. And on this one, all you have to do is cut off the 2 score lines on the tab. So I cut just outside the score line, so the score line's gone, because otherwise it gives you a very rough edge. And I go just up over the score line for the bottom, because we're just going to cut this chunk out, right? So if I cut just past the score line, then I can cut this score line off as well. So I just get a nice flat, smooth edge. Now on this one here, I left it straight because I find, and only because it's easier to make your paper straight. The one I had tried, the one I couldn't find, I actually angled this in because it just looked a little more finished. But then when I went to do the paper, I had to like do the, mental gymnastics to get the paper to have the even border around it. Just a minute. I have so much stuff on my desk, I lost my tape. Okay, so this is all I did. Now this is this is totally, I saw this somewhere and I didn't actually download or anything. I just saw it and thought, oh, okay, I see what they did there. And I didn't measure or anything. So when I went to make it, I had to like figure out all the measurements, and the measurements are 100% based on the fact that I like tear and tape. Because if you make this a little shorter or like a little narrower, you don't have room for your tear and tape and your card. But I like tear and tape, so I made sure it was big enough that I could put tear and tape on it. So all I did was put tear and tape on either end. And I'm only just putting on the one. If you put it on both ends, I mean, if you were using this for note cards or something, and you could very easily, I guess I should have mentioned that. You could very easily make this for note cards. You could make it a little narrower, drop the top down a bit, and it would be perfect. If you wanted to put tear and tape on both sides of this to make it like a pocket, just not grabbing my other note card. Oh yeah. See, if you did that, if you put tear and tape here, this would hold your note cards in. But I found by putting tear and tape on both sides, it makes this pocket smaller. Here, it just gives you a little leeway. And you can put things in and out without worrying about pulling them off. So that is as simple as that was, right? That's how simple that folio went together. And then you're just decorating it up. Okay. Now, the reason that I decorated the back is structural. So the front has, this is pretty peacock. So this is basically 5 by 7, like the front piece. So I basically just went a 1/4 inch smaller with some old olive, and then a 1/4 inch smaller with a sheet of the paper. And then I put my little cute bear, and I put some some embellishments and a little bit of extra paper. On the back, I just put the 2 layers, and that's because I want this to be stronger than just a sheet of cardstock. It's the same reason I only put here, because I find if you put a layer of cardstock and then a layer of DSP, especially with a pattern like this, there's so little DSP left, you don't get to see very much of it. And this is not at all structural. This is purely decorative. And I could make it that I could sort of get him, but I kind of got his feet over here, but then I was amused by it. I got a little guy coming in the corner. And I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could put like a little saying or something in here. But so yeah, this is decorative, this paper, but these making 2 layers on the front and the back, that gives it a bit of structure. Because once I use these cards and pop them out, I can always pop other ones in. I can use it to save. I can put note cards. I can put whatever in here. So yeah, when you're decorating up, you want 2 layers. And actually, I will use this one. I'll just trim off what I did, but I'm going to use this one once we're done here tonight, or depending how long this all takes. And I'm going to turn that size into the simple note card version and decorate it up with the B paper. So watch for that one. Okay, so then we have the note card, the little fancy note card one. And then I got to this guy, who we're going to put together and see how it works. So here's basically what I did. So these are 2, just a minute, scooped up my menorah. These are 2 pieces that are 7 by 7. And then it has a 2-inch score line, and that's for the spine. And I wanted the spine to overlap here because this is going to be heavy with all the cards in it. And so I wanted structure here as well. I know in the first one, this one, I didn't put anything on the spine. nor did I put it on the little one. You could put a little strip of paper or something down there. I just didn't. This one though, I wanted to overlap these two pieces, and then I wanted to make sure I decorated this up as well, because I wanted this to be as sturdy as possible. Right now it is super floppy, and I actually think taking the cards out would make a world of difference on that. It's super floppy because it's not finished. Like, it takes all of the structure to make the structure. Right now I just have half. But anyway, so yeah, so I did that, and then I did the same thing. I basically took, because this measurement is also the other one, sorry, this other one here is not 5 by 7. It is 5 1/8 by 7. And the 1/8 was what I needed to, oops, sorry, that's the wrong one. On the other one was what I needed to put that little bit of tear and tape to work. That's why it is 5 1/8. So 5 1/8, 3/4, 5 1/8 adds up to 11. This one is 5 by 7 because I was putting the box, so it didn't matter about the tear and tape. And then, have I lost you all rattling off all those numbers? It'll all make sense in the end. And then with this one, it's the same thing. I just cut my, I did this one, I did the opposite colors. I did gold olive for the like the base, and then I did pretty peacock for the layer, and then I used the same paper because I love it. Love the paper. I was going to do the one with the little trees, excuse me, with just the little trees on it, but I wanted to put a bear on this one as well because I knew the bear cards were going in it. So, and it might be easier because this is what, definitely it's easier to put this on before you put the box on the back side of it. But it's definitely easier to put it together before it's all hooked together and harder to lay flat. Okay, so this has nothing on it because you only need to have stuff on one side. Oh, I made the mistake. I was gonna say I did this when I was doing the practice, and I had a little note to myself to make sure you put it on the right way, and I put it on upside down. Okay, so learn by what Tracey does wrong. And even with all that seal that I put on, there we go. I'm still gonna be able to fix this. Okay, so here's what I should have done. I was just so excited about decorating because, like I said, I've been having so much fun playing. I'm in such a good mood today. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's put this the right way. These overlap like this. I haven't put the box on this side. They overlap like this. So this is the front, this is the back. So what I should have done was I should have had this on the right, not on the left. And then I put my trees or my bears back on, going in the right orientation. Otherwise, they're upside down. Now, honestly, if you had done this and not been able to rip it off like I did, it would have just been a funny anecdote for later, and I wouldn't have stressed over it, and I wouldn't have restarted. I'd have just left it on upside down just to be entertaining. It also would have told you that if you picked your thing up and your bears were upside down, then that meant your cards were upside down. So get ready to grab them all before they fell on the floor. So there we go. Now this is going in the right direction. And then what I'm going to do, and I already put tear and tape on here, is, and I debated about this, but I think I want this thing to quit flipping all over the place. So I think I'm going to put the back pieces together, which I think I would have done first, and then put the boxes on. But I definitely, because I want to make sure that they're within the lines and that they're not in the way when I'm trying to do this step. So I put one on, but I definitely wouldn't have wanted to put two. So now I am matching these up, and I'm going just this side of the score line. And yes, I put tear and tape the whole way around because this is going to be one of the most moved pieces of the whole thing. So I'm not sure if you can see that. Here's the score line, and then this cut is just on the inside. So when you look on the outside, it would be the same. This would be the score line, and it's just there. So this is making it just a little bit wider than like a hair wider. I got that corner, and that's a little funky. Just a little bit wider than 2 inches, like 2.5 inches. So there's half our box, right? Or folio. And these are 1 inch deep. And that was when I measured it. Like I said, that was kind of maxed out on what I could get. If I made this any wider, then the 4-inch strip that was left wouldn't have been 4 inches anymore, and it wouldn't have been big enough to make this box. So that was the reason for that measurement. So basically, when I cut my, I'm gonna find a piece. Okay, so here's my 11 by 7 sheet of paper. So basically what I did was, this was the 7 by 7 piece. And this was this piece. So this is what came out of 1 sheet of paper. This is where the half came. Right? So I cut the 7 by 7 square first. Then I cut this off at the 4-inch piece. And then I had just a chunk of green left over for whatever I was going to do. So yes, you need 2 sheets of paper. We'll make 2. So I made the other box and the other front. And then I'll have a picture of this as well, that shows you where all the adhesive goes. And you can see what I did. So I took my square and I cut out the little chunks, because what I want to do, and instead of just, you'll be able to like follow the picture afterwards. But what I want to do is I want to be able to make a box. I don't want to have a whole bunch of edges, because I know when you have the edges, then when you go to put stuff in and out, you're inevitably hitting the edge, right? So we have these ones, and that's more structural. I needed one place that tied the front and the back together, but I didn't make a full box, because then you'd have that one, there would be one more place that you could just hit into things. So this is basically, it's all cut and scored. This is going to tuck in. I'm just going to dry fit this to make sure before I stick it on. This is going to fold up into like a box that's open on the back. And then this box fits right down into this corner. And I made this 4 7/8. So just shy of the 5, so that I could make sure it was inside of the score line. And then if I did my math right, oh, I did. It closes. This isn't tape. It closes, and you got your 2 1-inch things make up your 2-inch spine. And then when you put your cards in, it'll work. Now, the other thing I didn't say, and now that I've put that thing on and taken it off now. Oh, there we go. There's a little thing. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of those Lifesaver books. So you could do the same thing. You could make more of a box, and you could do the whole same thing like a Lifesaver book. None of these need to be tied shut, but if you want to tie a ribbon around where you can tie them shut, and when they are tied shut, they slip less. Like these are, this one's got a pretty good, like, because it's a double spine and because the adhesive actually helps, right? So there's lots of adhesive in there. It's double cardstock. It's got the extra layer on the outside. I don't think it's going to slide as much. I guess we'll find out. But if you were going to tie a ribbon around it, you would have put the ribbon on underneath these front layers, because then it would have held the ribbon in place. But I didn't do that. I'll do the ribbon option on the note card one. Okay, so here's what we're going to do first. And this is how I found was the easiest way to get this box square. Okay, so we're going to peel off just these 2 tabs to start with. And so this is the side. So all we're doing is folding this over and lining this up so it's nice and straight on that side. I'm going to do the same one here. So this line and this edge, that's what I'm lining up to get it square before I do too much else. There we go. So this is the only place where, and this is just a little bit wider than the cards, you'll see when they go in there. So this is the only place where there's something you might hit, like when you go to put stuff in that you could hit. That's why I have tear and tape right up to the edge of it, because I want to be able to do that. Or I want to be able to have it like secure so I don't hit that. Okay, so now I'm going to take these guys off and square up the next corner. And yes, this is what's going to hold this box, which is what's holding the cards to the back of the folio. So I am definitely using tear and tape. I would imagine you could use Seal Plus. So I'm just lining up the corners as I fold, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it, because if it looks, I mean, I hand cut this, like the corners and stuff. So if it looks terribly out of whack, I'm just kind of going to adjust it. But it looks like I actually cut pretty straight this time. So there we go. I got all the tape off the back. You can see the little glisten, and there's my little box that's going on the front. Should I have put DSP on here first? Probably. But I find when it's just DSP and you're just laying it on, I find it very easy to do after. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking this corner of the box and I'm lining it up on this corner. On the one, I'll show you in a second here. On the other one, I had it a little bit of overlap, but you can't, on the note card one, you can't get it to, because it was all one piece, right? There was no second piece of cardstock. So you end up with like a little bit hanging out. But I found that if you put, so for a small amount is not as bad, but if you put a bunch of stuff, so this is conceivably can hold, I think, 20 cards this size. So if you do that, I'm just pushing down where that tear and tape is with my bone folder. So there's tear and tape that runs like the 2 strips here, the 2 strips there, and the 2 strips there on the backside. So I'm just making sure those are down well. I find that if you had a lot of heavy stuff and you have that overlap, it's just going to keep getting bent. This one, because it's such a cute little package, but also because it's just kind of small and lightweight. Let me put this back in here. So this little bit here that's like sticking out, I don't think it's going to get mangled too badly. It's a smaller piece of cardstock to begin with. But yeah, on the bigger, heavier one, if I had this like extra part, I think it would just get banged up a lot. So I want this right to the edge so there's nothing going on there. So then I still need to cut the papers and decorate. And because this is so wide in here, I might put another like bit of cardstock and DSP. If not, there'll be at least DSP. I think structurally it's feeling pretty good. How many cards do I have here? I have 7 cards. I'm going to put some on each side just so you can get the gist of it. And then close it together like this. So yeah, that's 7 cards. So let's put 7 on one side. And I'll show you. So, because I figured, so I got 7, and these are by Tracey standards, fairly simple cards. So I could, I mean, there's at least one layer of dimensionals, but most of them don't have 2 layers of dimensional on them. But I have room, like I'm having a hard time getting the right angle. There we go. I could squish a little bit. You could also, if you want to get your cards to fit better, put half one way and half the other way, because then all like the parts with the flaps and they sit more square this way instead of triangular. But you can see I can still get some more in there. So I probably could get 10 on each side. Now, some of those card bases might get turned into boxes of rags or other things. So there's not necessarily saying you need 20, but I'm going to easily say this folio would hold 16 cards, unless they were super like decorated, if they had lots of layers, and well, even this one's not that bad, but if they had ribbon and they were thicker, then there'd be less. But nonetheless, that is how that guy went together. And then I didn't quite finish because I thought if I put the decorations on before I'm done, I'm going to have a heck of a time. They're going to be all mangled by the time I'm done. So my thought was I was just going to do that, put a little something here, stamp that little guy, decorate the front, back's left plain. I have no idea what stamp set yet though. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take out my little blank note cards as my little samples, and I'll show you. I'll show you how I made all of these, because like I said, I basically just saw an idea and then just measured things as I went. In case you're wondering, I got an Epicure order today. I had ordered a couple things that I needed, and one of the things I have never tried is cheesy fries, but my son likes cheddar cheese popcorn, and I thought, hey, if you can put it on fries, maybe you can put it on popcorn. So when I was ordering the other stuff, like restocking on other things, I ordered a jar of that, and the jar came wrapped in this paper. So I opened it up and I looked at it and I was like, oh, cool. And I threw the paper in the recycle. And then I sat down to try to do all of these things and took the paper promptly back out of the recycle. Hence the reason I'm drawing all of this on a piece of brown paper, because it was in the recycle. Okay, so if I was to do this instead, you know what, instead of trying to cut the one that I already have adhesive on, stand by one, just gonna grab another piece of paper, talk amongst yourselves. Oh, it's a good thing that I'm somewhat organized. I moved the stuff that was previously on the paper thing off. Okay, so here's how we do the math, and here's how we're going to make one of the simple folios that's note card size. So I know I want to do a piece of paper. I want to put a spine on it. And I want to put a piece that comes over it. So that's the basic layout, right? That's the same layout that's up here in this corner. Blocking my light. So this is the basic size I need. So this one I'm going to write. So that was note card full, and this one was slightly bigger for the memories and more cards. So this one is also note card size. Okay, so my note card, I know because I already measured it. The envelope, remember how I said don't measure the size of the note card, measure the actual envelope. It should be, what did I write down there? This is just shy. So this is 3 5/8. So I wrote down that I needed a 3 3/4 space because I don't want to make it too tight. And this one is 5 1/8. So I made it 5 1/4. So I'm making it 1/8 of an inch bigger, right? So I know that this needs to be 3 3/4. And this piece needs to be 3 3/4. And this needs to be 5 1/4 big. And I just guessed on the first one, oh, 1 1/2 inches. This one is 1 1/2 inches. I don't want to cover the whole card, because then if you have stuff on it, you're running into, like when you go to put it back in again, you're going to do this and catch on it and stuff. So I didn't want to have it covering too much of the card, but I wanted enough that things weren't floppy. And I'm quite happy with the 1 1/2 inches. So I'm just going to keep going with 1 1/2 inches. Now, what would make me alter that was if I was limited by paper size. So right now on this side, I have 6 3/4, easy to fit in. And then this one is 7 1/2, 3 1/2, 3 1/2, 7, yes, 7 1/2. The 3/4 inch spine is a good size because it's not super floppy, and it lets me put like 6 of something. Because this one is also pretty sure a 3/4 inch. Maybe this is, oh, this one's only a 1/2 inch spine. Well, let's just try the 1/2 inch spine and see what happens. Okay, so we're going to make this a 1/2 inch. Okay, so now what I know is I need my paper to be, what did I just say this was? 7 1/2. So I need this piece of paper going across to be 8. I always write my measurements, the width by the height. And the only, like when I'm using just a piece of paper, it's fine. But if I do that every time I do that, then I know if I have directional paper, like DSP, then I'm writing it the right way. So this is 8. And then what did I say this was? 6 3/4. So I need 8 by 6 3/4. So a little trimmer out. And whatever, this is just me, whatever piece I'm cutting, the biggest chunk that's going to be left over is the one I cut first, so that it's the longest, widest it can be. So in this case, I want this to be 6 3/4. So if I cut at 5 on my 11, that would be 6. So I'm going to back it up by 3/4. So I'm cutting, that's how I do my math. So I'm cutting at 4 1/4. I'm cutting a 4 1/4 chunk off, which leaves this as 6 3/4. Okay, so now this is the biggest piece I can leave. And I left that for whatever next project is. And then we measure it just to make sure I did this right. That's 8 1/2. That's the one I haven't cut. So yes, I got 6 3/4. So then on my 8 inch piece, I need my 8 inch piece just to be 8 inches. So I'm just going to go on this side of the thing, and I'm going to trim off a 1/2 inch. Put that over with the little bits and pieces. Now, which one? 8 inch. So as per my diagram, there we go. As per our fancy instructions, I want each one of these to be 3 3/4 with a 1/2 inch in the middle. So again, because I don't like to have to make my paper go, or my arm of my thing go out, I'm just going to go 3 3/4. I'm going to 180 it, and I'm going to 3 3/4 again. Then I'm going to go, and you know what, I think part of the reason I always pick 1.5 inches if it's a random number is because the 1.5 inches is as far as I can go on this side. So if my paper is taller or longer than 6 inches, I can still get 1.5 inches over here. So there we go. We just scored it out car size. Let's see how we did. Okay, so I'm going to score or burnish first. Burnish. And then, oh, I forgot about the tear and tape. Did I even have room for tear and tape? And see, I could have, because I had lots of room here. It just looks really narrow. Oh yeah, I totally screwed that up. So I made this the exact size, and I totally forgot to leave the room for the tear and tape. So what we have here, I'll show you in a second, because there is no such thing as garbage in crafting. We know that. A minute. I'm cutting off this same little middle piece. But this is good. This is how you learn, right? And no matter how many of these boxes I make or folders or bits and pieces I make, I still sometimes just, lose it and do it wrong. So here's the thing though, where'd my tear and tape go? The other thing I was going to say you could use these for, so let's, okay, talk to you later. Thanks for coming. I was going to say, believe it or not, it's not like I planned this, but I was going to say one of the other things you could do is make one of these little folios and use it and fill it with Christmas tags, and you could give it as a gift, like make a bunch of Christmas tags for somebody and then gift it to them. So when they go to do all their presents, they've got pretty tags to use. So let's just say this size. And again, because Tracey has been so busy playing and has not cleaned off her desk, I have some tags on my desk. Will this fit? This is a very big, big elaborate tag. So the answer is no. How about these smaller, less elaborate tag? Nope. See, I like things hanging off the edge, so I've made these so wide. But let's just pretend that I didn't make things so wide. Here, let's pretend these are the tags I want to use. Okay, there we go. So you could make one of these as tags. You would just have to, I would make tags longer than this, but you would size it. So you could use this and make a little folio to put, like I said, Christmas tags in it. You could decorate it up. If you knew that you were keeping receipts or recipe cards or something, you could make it. I mean, this folio works for anything, right? And then you just have to decorate it. There, that's the receipt for my son's skates, his brand new hockey skates that I had to buy again because the kid won't stop growing. So I could put like a little cute little hockey picture on here, and maybe I wouldn't make it out of this particular color. His team is blue and, well, 2 shades of blue and white. But I could, like, you could use it for whatever, receipts, tags. Okay, so here's what we're going to do though, is we're going to fix our mistake because I have 8 minutes. I'm going to fix my mistake in 8 minutes. So I'm back over here. Hopefully you can still hear me as I walk away one more time. And this time, okay, so this is how I know that we're going to get this right this time. Any guesses how I know I'm going to get this right this time? Murphy's Law. That's how I know. Because this time, I brought 2 pieces of paper. So because I have 2 pieces of paper, I will not need 2 pieces of paper. Hence the reason I know I will get this right the first time. Okay, look at this. So sometimes you just have to knock things over. Oh, look at that. These are the gift card holders that I made for the bear class by cutting one in half. It just so happens that this size works to hold your gift card holders. Oh my goodness, it's almost like I designed it. I didn't. Okay, so where'd my little piece of paper go? So back to the drawing board. Take that out because we're going to write on it. So what I did wrong on that one was I did not leave enough room for the tear and tape. So what we're going to do is we're going to add on a tear and tape, which I just have to rewrite my numbers because I just wrote over top of them. So what I want for tear and tape, so tear and tape is just a little bit wider than a 1/4 inch. right? It's unfortunate that it's not just that little bit narrower. So what I like to do though is I like to make it 3/8. So that gives me almost 1/8 of an inch of play. And also, just from a purely mathematical standpoint, 3/8 is a good amount, because if you add 3/8 to both sides, it's 3/4. So it makes the math easier. So what did I say this was? I said this was 8, and this was 3/4. So this is now 8 3/4 by 6 3/4. Now, when we cut the last one, remember how I took my 8 by 11 and I cut this big chunk off so I could have 6 3/4? Well, now, because I've just made this 8 3/4, it is now a 1/4 inch bigger than that. So now we have to make, this is going to have to be the 8 3/4 side, and this is going to have to be the 6 3/4 side. Otherwise, it won't fit in the piece of paper. So back out with the trimmer. I'm gonna have to put a new blade on this trimmer. This trimmer has served me well today. Okay, so what did I say? 8 3/4. So and okay, so if you're trying to figure out, like I said, I don't like to put the arm on. I never have room for it. So this is 11. So if I cut 3 inches off of 11, I would have 8 inches left over. But I need this to be 8 3/4. So I'm going to back it up by 3/4. So that's 2 1/4. So 8 3/4 plus 2 1/4 equals 11. That's how my brain works on math. So if you're not good at math, like myself, actually, I just like to do it in my head. And so I found ways to make it work, and that's how it works for me. So this is 8 1/2. What do I want it to be? 6 3/4. So 8 1/2. So if I took off 2 inches, that would make it 6 1/2. But I need it to be 6 3/4. So I'm going to back it off. Now that one seemed weird to me. So sometimes, because I don't want to have to waste my other paper, because I said I wasn't going to. No, I did that right. So I'm cutting 2 1/4 off here. But I cut 2 1/4 off both sides. That's what's weird. 8 3/4. Yeah, I did too. Okay, that just doesn't normally happen that way. Or no, I think I cut more off the other side. Okay. So now I'm going to do my 1 1/2 on the bottom. And then instead of 3 3/4, because I had 3 3/4, I'm adding another 3/8 to it. So it's now 4 1/8. Then I'm going to flip it over and do 4 1/8. This is why we're not decorating, because we have 3 minutes left. We are determined that we're going to make this work. So who loves the snow? I do. I'll admit it. I do not like the summer. I love the fall though. And so fall can stay for a little bit longer. I don't quite have everything ready outside yet. But yes, I would take -30 over +30 any day of the week. So I do not complain when it's cold or snowy. And it does seem particularly cold this week, but it's just that adjustment period. Because it's what, I think it was -7 this morning is the coldest it's been so far. But I think it's supposed to warm up again next week. So while the snow is melted off of all of the roads and sidewalks, I would imagine by next week it will be off the grass as well, because I think I heard it was supposed to be 6 degrees or something. What did I do? There we go. Okay, so I did the same thing on this one. I cut the little tab out of the middle. And I'm putting this on here. Oops. And voila. I did it the right size this time. I usually only make the same mistake once. So I made it once and then I corrected it and then I got it. Okay, so there we go. There is that piece. And there's that piece. And you know what? It is snug. But it is the right size. I don't know with this one. I don't know that I could get 6 note cards. Like with the other one, I can only 4 cards is what comfortably fits. I think with this one, you're probably maxing out at 4 note cards as well. Yeah, see, this one doesn't work quite as well for the note cards. I would do the boxed out one. Not this particular model. I would just make like the bigger one and do it. But you can't get 4 note cards in here. It's just very snug. And then, oops, there we go. And then it fits in that way. So there we go. Folios aplenty. Just let me move all these out. And that was how easy it was to make one, right? So we got a couple of the prototypes there. Just a second, I got cards everywhere now. Those ones back where they were. We are doing, I forgot to print out the little piece of paper for it. The reason I was working on a note card one and was trying to see if I could get one that would fit 8 note cards was my ultimate goal, is because for our January catalog launch, we will be making note cards. And note cards are so much fun to make. This is one of the suites we'll be using, maybe not this particular card, but this is one of the suites. But if you pick the make and take option, then you can you'll have 8 note cards at the end. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun if I could figure out an easy way to do a folio that holds 8 note cards? And then you could put all your make and takes in a folio. So figure out what size you want, play around a little bit, go to town. Like I said, you can make them, this one, I'll just pretend like it's all glued down, which it's not. There's some folios for you. And by far, this one is, like I said, by far the easiest. With the cards, it works a little bigger. I think I might fix the, I'm realizing now that I have a bit more room on either side, which I think is maybe why this one fit more cards. So I might tweak those note card measurements before I post them tomorrow. But yeah, this is by far the easiest model of it. This one is not hard, it's just fussy. And once somebody else gives you the math, it's easy. And then this one is definitely the one that holds the bigger amounts. But it's a bit more work, and it uses 2 sheets of paper. So I will have that all posted and ready to go for tomorrow. Thank you guys all for hanging out with me. Oh, and don't forget, you can make them in sizes for tags, or in this case, gift card holders. Look at all this pink paper. Never have I used so much pink paper before. Quite the mess of my desk today. But there you go. Folios aplenty. That is what's up Wednesday. I don't love winter drivers. My commute is, oh, Carmen, I hear you. I think, I mean, I've always been a winter person, but I think the fact that I now work from home, and for, well, even the last almost 2 years of, instead of having to commute all the way to downtown Edmonton, as soon as COVID hit, I spent the last, say, 1.5 years of my work working from home. And then when I retired and I can do this full time, then yeah, I don't have the commute. Are we talking about the little B one, Carmen? I know. This is the one that you can get if you're registered for On Stage. You can order this suite, and it is so adorable. I love him. And the somewhere on my desk. Nope, I have no idea what I did with him. The other, like the online exclusives that are coming out on the 7th of November have this cute set with the furry critters in it. Let's see. Oh, I did too. This Fluffiest Friends one goes with it, right? And I found, especially because there's the bear with the honey. So this one demonstrators can order right now, and it comes with this amazing set of dies. Demonstrators can order this right now. Customers will be able to order this on the 7th of November, plus a bunch of other stuff. And then there's this one, but I found like the bear and the flowers and the little back and forth, and I think these two go together quite nicely. And I was mixing and matching the first time I used both sets. I was using ones from both. Community is now 30 minutes. Oh, 15. Yeah, and you know what? When I woke up on Monday morning, I think it was Monday, and it said there was a snowfall alert. And so I read through the whole thing, and it said 2 to 5 centimeters. And I thought, 2 to 5 centimeters? That's not a lot of snow. But they were giving everybody these snowfall alerts because it was the first real snowfall of the year. And everybody loses their mind. Everybody forgets how they drove last winter and has no idea what to do. So yeah, I don't have to drive a lot now, which maybe is why it doesn't bother me quite as much. And my son is old enough now that he shovels the sidewalk, so I don't have that problem either. But yeah, I like the way snow looks, and I like colder temperatures. more than I like hot temperatures, but I can definitely understand not enjoying the commute. Yes, you ordered the bees tonight, and those don't they? That's right, Carmen. I seriously, as soon as, because I wanted the first card I made, the first card I made was with the beaver, who's too cute for words. But then I made the next card was bear, and as soon as I saw this, and I mean, there's a couple tiny little bees here, but I made the bear with this "You Make My Heart Buzz" sentiment, and yeah, they go together. There's little elements that go very nicely together on both of them. So, okay, I'm going to wrap it up because now I'm over time, and I'm trying to get better at being on time, everything working, everything going. I'm still working on the second camera, but like I said, today instead of working on business, I was playing, and I had lots of fun playing. So that is it for What's Up Wednesday. Thank you everybody for joining me. I hope you have a lovely couple days, and I will be back here on Friday, 12:30 with something. I don't actually think I know what it is yet, but it'll be something. So have a great week. We'll see you on Friday. Thanks, everybody.